Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy on Board Game Geek, getting ready to bring you our second turn of Castaways. We're going to probably do two turns. So we did Charles Bernard, Doctor, last turn. We're probably going to do the other two this turn, and Alexander as start players, which means we'll do two full turns, and then Alexander's Selkirk. So let's go to our game and just get right into it. I saw one error that I made. I may have done something a little wrong, but you know, it wasn't so game impacting. I'm going to go back and fix it. I didn't note it in the video, but we're going to continue on. So let's get back and start with our second turn by drawing our event card. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is draw our new event card for the turn. That's interesting. No weather effect again. Okay, this card says a heavy swell upon the sea. So we're going to wash up another piece of salvage onto the shore if there are two or more cubes in the salvage, and there obviously are. There's a bunch still. So this is going to move up into there. Again, normally there would be a weather symbol here that would adjust the weather track, but nothing happens. And it says, "Oh no! Are you kidding me? This turn the castaways can't fish. On the turn that the person who is the fisher would go fish." That's just wonderful. Well, it is what it is. And then, of course, if we were closer to victory conditions, these things would help. But man, could this game have predicted more what I was going to do and counter it effectively? So, yeah. So we were going to have Anne Alexander, our fisher, who gets to receive extra fish when fishing, in the camp action, take the fishing action, which she can now not do. She would have to use one of her regular actions to go fish in the camp. So that kind of blows our deal here, but that's the name of the game. So now what does she do with her camp action? That is a great question. She's healthy as a horse. I mean, she's back up to 5 out of her 6 energy. She's not doing too bad. So let's go to the, well, you can see most of it up here, but let's zoom in on the camp board and see what she's going to do. Okay, so here's our camp actions. Now, I would have loved for her to go fish this turn, but we're okay on food. We will manage. We will manage if we don't get more food. We'll be okay for this round. But you know, we could continue to explore. We could pay one to draw 3 cards from the coast deck, or we could just receive a food. I don't know what she wants to do. I don't want her to really spend any energy over here. I think she's going to go here and just get a food. That seems wasteful, but it is what it is. So she's going to get a food, and it's going to go on her card, not on her, not in the. It says you receive one food, not put one food in our box, our storage box. Anyway, that's going to end that. Now we're going to go back to her regular actions on the main board. Man, what a sad turn of events with that event card. That really hosed us this turn. I had a plan, and my plan was laid to waste. Anyway, we're going to start with her first action. So I think that we do need more wood. We're going to need a lot more wood, theoretically, because we got to build our shelter. We haven't been able to do that. So I think for her first action, she's going to go there and spend 1 energy getting wood. Alexander Selkirk is going to, yeah, he's got 4 energy right now. Our campfire is lit, and we do have food. We do have wood to put on that fire for 1 more turn. We're going to need some more. We need a lot of wood. This seems like a wasteful thing to get wood. It's just 1 a turn. So I think that for his first action, he's going to get some salvage. We might get some extra wood out of that. Now, our good old Dr. Charles, he's really low. He's only got 2 energy right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place him. I got to look and see if I can do this, but I believe I can. I think I'm going to place him on the very last rest spot there, because I'm hoping that we get the ability to build our shelter before, of course it's going to cost 3 energy from somebody, build our shelter before we do that. So, I mean, heck, going here brought him down to 2. But anyway, let's do this. We're going to go here 1 more time. Actually, she is going to build our shelter. It's going to cost her 3. That'll put her at 1, and that's going to be her second action for the turn. Andrew Selkirk, what can he do? He's down to 2. He's going to gather wood as well. That'll put him down to 1, but that'll give us enough wood to stoke the fire and build the enough wood to build the shelter. Okay, and then Charles, for his last action, will, oh gosh, if he does anything, well, he can spend 1 energy first. I think we have enough food to, because Anne can eat one of her own food, and the other two can eat the 2 out of the storage. But that's the non-perishable food. That's better food. He can't afford to spend 2. He'll go down to 0. So he's going to gather wood as well. That'll put him down to 1. Of course, then he'll rest. That's going to be it. We're not going to be exploring the island this turn, so it's going to be a quick turn. Okay, next things up is we look for lost survivors. We do not have any. Just checking my turn order just to be sure. I do believe that is going to be it. We can just, yeah, so, okay, we did the camp, we did the lost castaways. Now we just do our action resolution, so let's get started there. Okay, so we didn't do any foraging, so the first thing we do is we go with Anne, and she salvaged wood, or scavenged for wood on the beach. Then we go to Alexander Selkirk. He does the same. That puts 2. And then we go to Charles Bernard. He did the same as well. That's going to give us a total of 4 wood in our storage. Now we go to here. So in that one, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's 5 cards. We draw 5 cards. You know, they could have put some of this iconography on the board. It would have helped us. Just like draw 5 or something like that, just to keep it in our heads. But we're going to draw 5 cards, and we're going to, starting with Anne as the first player, or actually Alexander, because he did the draw. We're going to start picking some cards. So let me draw those out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and see what we get. So we got a pocket watch. The Bible, we already know that that can be helpful. It helps us with energy. More rope. We already got a thing of rope, so I think that one, well, it might pass. Sails, a big canvas cloth that can be used to improve your shelter, or a big raft. Add 1 sail to the storage and discard this card. So we're probably going to take the sail. But I think that Alexander, we got 2 sails in there. He's going to take the Bible. He's got medicines and the Bible. Now what does the Bible do? It says, if no one takes this card, all castaways receive 2 injuries, so we've got to take it. If one of the players takes it, add camp 4 to the camp. So he's going to take that, and we're going to pause for a moment to get card number 4 out of our big deck of cards and put it in the camp. So here's 4. It's called Pray. This gives us another option and helps us to recover energy. Okay. Give us good weather, we pray. Take a look at the next event card. You may, oh, this is pretty cool. You may leave it on top of the deck, pay 1 energy, shuffle it back into the deck. So we can look at it for free and put it on top of the deck if we take, well, not free, we have to take that action. But that is added to our camp cards. So now we have another card in the camp. And that was his pick from the items. The pocket watch, what does that do? If you're a starting player, you may choose any action on the board and perform it as starting player action. That's pretty cool. This action is not resolved immediately. I don't see that as that valuable over the sails, but he'll take the sails, which means that, now, and Anne would say, hey, I took the rope last time and sacrificed that, so he's going to take the sails. This is going to get discarded, and we're going to take a sails token and put that into our storage. Okay. We could get 2 sails. I mean, she could take the other sails of the rope. Is the pocket watch that valuable to us? You know, I'm tempted not to keep the pocket watch. I mean, we almost always have a camp action that we can take that has value. Even if one person's fishing and only getting 1 fishing item, there's value in that. But the sails, again, the sails might be more useful to us. So I think he's going to do that. So we're going to discard the rest of those. We're going to take another sails and put it in our storage. We got the big sails off the ship. And that is going to mark the end of the salvage for Alexander Selkirk. Okay, now we go on to Anne Alexander. She has paid her 3 to build a shelter. It is going to cost us 2 wood, leaving us 2 wood in that area right there. And we're going to turn over this shelter, and it's going to allow us to now roll dice to gain health. Okay. By the way, we need to stoke our fire. We need to put it. I'm just going to put that on there as a reminder that we have used a wood for the fire. And then the last thing is that we have Charles Bernard. He's going to rest. Now he gets to take advantage of that. This tile right here, the new camp tile, which allows him to roll a d6. On a 1, 2, 3, he gets 1 energy. On a 4, 5, 6, he gets 2, and he gets to remove the injury. So we're going to do that now. We're just going to take the white injury off his card, which reduces his amount of energy, and we're going to go roll a die. Okay, here we go. We're going to roll 1 die for him. He got a 4, so that means he's going to gain 2 energy back. That is useful. Just to show you what that does, we're going to bump his energy up from 1 to 3. That's better than 1. He's starting to get back in the race, and he's got no injuries any longer, so we're pretty good there. And that basically ends all of the actions, so we're going to go on to the next phase of the game. Okay, so now we need to go on to our survival phase, and in that we're going to need to first feed our people. So we don't have any food tiles in our bin, but we do have food. So Charles Bernard and Alexander Selkirk are going to eat the 2 food out of the storage, and Anne Alexander is going to eat one of the 2 she has on her personal card, and that will allow her to all be fed. So everybody's fed, and so when you feed, you can either okay, we eat it. Okay, castaways can eat their own food tokens. We did that. Each castaway must eat at least 1 food per turn or lose 1 energy and gain 2 injuries. We all ate. For each food a castaway eats, he recovers 1 energy. So we could recover more energy. She could eat her second piece of food. But everybody gets to recover 1. That puts 2 of our folks up a little bit. Okay, now, the campfire. The campfire is lit, and we did take, basically any castaway can do this. It doesn't have to be an action. We do get to take the bonus for the campfire. If the campfire is lit, we get to recover another energy, I believe. But let me just double. Yeah, then if the campfire is lit, each castaway recovers 1 energy. Okay, that is great. So we're going to go up 2 energy. Still not too good. We used up a lot of energy. The one that's actually in good shape right now is our doctor. So let me show you where that lies with our characters, and then we'll move on. Okay, here's our characters. So you can see that Alexander is at 3. Anne is at 3, and the doctor is at 5, and he's got no injuries. So that's a pretty good ending for this turn. Let's wrap it up with the next part of the end turn, which is basically just the kind of the wrap-up phase, I guess. So we're going to take the wood off the fire now. It goes back into the pile, and that's part of the upkeep. So what else do we do on upkeep? If we had injuries, we would look at that as well. We don't have any lost explorers, and the last thing we do in the upkeep is we pass the start player and the camp action over to the next player, which is Alexander Selkirk, and then we're going to move right into that next turn. So I said we do 2 turns. This one went very fast because we didn't do any exploration. So let's also going to make sure to take everything off the board. We've got everybody's pawns off. We're good. Let us move on to our next turn. Well, it kind of hurt us not to fish last turn, but she can always take one of these actions and use the camp action if we need to, and we probably will because we don't have any food left. Okay, alright, so first time we have a weather symbol come up. So what does that mean? Up here at the top we're going to increase, because it was a sun, we're going to increase that by 1. We're still okay there. And then we're going to have more salvage wash up on the shore if it's a 1 or greater on here, and there are 4, so that one is going to wash up. And it says you get up late. There are no starting player actions for this turn. Okay, we're exhausted, couldn't fish. What are we going to do for food now? Bummer, huh? Foraging is not a cheap way to go. We're probably better off trying to find food by exploring the island. Holy moly, man, that's 2 rough cards for us in a row, but it is what it is. Okay, I also need to look up the sails and see what they can do for our camp. There must be a point in time. Oh, I see. They're on the tiles. Yeah, we need one for getting our big shelter built. Okay, and so we have the rope and the sails for the big shelter. It's pretty awesome. Alright, but we need wood and stuff for that. So the first person that's going to go is Alexander. He does not get to take his extra camp action. So, well, it is what it is. I think that he's only got 3 energy. So for his first action, he is going to rest. Charles Bernard, on the other hand, can actually do a couple of things. I think that he will forage. Man, we're going to get 1 tile from there. he's going to forage. We need food. We need 2 food. And that is going to reduce his down 2, so he's down to 3. Anne is going to spend her first action resting, so it doesn't cost her any energy. And then Alex, for his second action, I think he's going to start an exploration, because he will gain at least 1 energy. He'll be even, but we don't have enough. Well, we only need the 1 wood we have right now, so he's going to do that. So he's going to start an exploration now. Does Charles want to go with him? Charles will. He's already lost his energy for foraging. Sure, why not? He'll join in on the rest action, try and get some more energy. So that way, if he does that, he won't be going on the trip. He's going to go with him. That'll put him down to 2 energy, so he can't lose too much energy on the trip. And Anne will also go, so that's going to put her down to 2 energy. Okay, so we're going to have a big island romping adventure this turn, but that is going to end our actions, so we don't have any lost survivors that have any impact here. So we're going to immediately go to our action resolutions. Okay, so the first thing we do is we take Charles Bernard's token back and we forage. Hopefully it's something decent. It was 2. That is awesome. So we got 2 food that we have salvaged and we put in our... Now those food will turn into white cubes. If they are not used this turn, they will perish because they spoil. Okay, now we're going to do a 2 for 1 for Alex and 1 for Anne. We're going to go to the dice bowl and we're going to roll for them resting in the camp. First up for the rest action is going to be Alexander Selkirk. So he rolled a 2, so he's going to gain 1 energy back. Hey, it's better than none. I'll take it. He's back up to a 4. And then we're going to have Anne, Alexander. That's funny, it's Alexander Selkirk and Anne Alexander. Don't want to mix them up. Okay, she's going to roll. She rolled a 6, so she got 2 energy back. She's back up to 4. That's a good place. I'm going to remove their pawns from the board and put them with their peoples. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to explore the island, because that's where everybody else is. So let's go do that. Now, so far, our adventurers, our stranded folks, have all decided to stay together and explore, and we're doing that same thing again this turn. So, like always, we're going to draw a card from here and see what happens. Okay, so on this one we're going to advance on the island, and we're also going to increase our chance, or decrease our chance to get back without problems. And everybody's going to move up 1. Okay, now it says the natives warning. Okay, I found some shrunken heads hanging from the branches of a tree. At that very moment, I knew it was a warning. If the next explorer decides to go back to the camp, return this card to the deck and shuffle it. If the next explorer decides to go on, remove this card from the game and add card 13 to the interior of the island. So, yeah, in reality, you know, I've been kind of doing this a little squirrely, but it's actually like this. But they are all going to advance together because they're together. Anyway, I think we're going to advance. So we're going to add card 13 to the interior of the island. I mean, the odds of us hitting this specific card, since we're putting a lot of other cards in it, I don't know. We'll see. Huh? But we're going to add that to the island. So I'm looking up that card right now. Yeah, great. Yeah. So hopefully we won't run into this one. It is a greenback card for the interior of the island, and it says under attack. Again, I'm not going to read what it does. I'm going to let us stumble upon the story, but I am going to shuffle it into the interior island. Okay, now we're going to continue on our way. So we're all right here, and let's see what get. Oh, so edible insects. Okay, it says now. First off, we're going to take care of this. So we're now at an 8 or better to get back. So it's getting a little tough. It says my desperate need of food caused me to eat certain things that were inconceivable for any civilized man. If you discard a random story point, you receive 2 food. Okay, so we do have a story point to discard. We are okay on food. I think he's going to not do that. So we're going to pass on this and move on. And we did not discard that for 2 food. We have just enough food to eat this turn. We should be okay. Okay, now, that's assuming we all get back. We're going to keep going, though. Uh-oh. Okay, giant tortoise. I found a... Now, first off, we're at a 9 now, so I think we're going to have to turn around and come back. And we didn't advance. That's twice we increased in difficulty but didn't get farther up the island. I found a beach inhabited by hundreds of giant tortoises. When I learnt how to cook them, I realized they were a delicacy. Add 2 to the food to the supply. That is a good one. This is the non-perishable food, so that is awesome. But and that was Ann Alexander. So she says, yeah, that's pretty rough for us. I think we need to get back. It's getting kind of difficult, and we don't have any items that are going to help us get back. So I think that's going to end our exploration. Alex says, yeah, I'm going back. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to head on back to camp. Though we're all still have a lot of energy. It's just getting difficult. We don't want to get lost, and that's a bad thing. So anyway, let's go to the dice bowl, and he's got to roll a 9 or better to get back to camp on 2 dice. Whew. That's pretty rough. Okay, well, there are ways to re-roll this, but we are going to go back as a group. So Alex said, I'm going back, and the other 2 said, yeah, we're going with you. This is getting rough. Let's hope we make it. Oh, 1 away. We rolled an 8. Okay, now what we can do here is we can declare ourselves lost, or we can spend energy equal to the amount of players. Everybody's going to spend 1 energy. Now, hopefully we get it, because the reality of it here is that the doctor cannot do that any more times. He'll be at 0. Group may reroll if they spend. Yeah, so it's a complete reroll. If we don't get this one, then we are lost. That would be bad, because we can't. Well, we could spend more energy if someone else spends 2, but the doctor can't spend any. Well, but let's roll, see what happens. Okay. Oh, 11, awesome. So it cost us some energy, but we are not lost, and that is a really good thing. So we made it back to camp, and that will basically consume the final actions for our team. But we got some food, and that's awesome. So let's go do the end of the turn. Okay, so focus down this bottom part of the board, because that's really all that matters for the moment. We have completed that, so now we have to go into our survival phase. We first have to eat. So the first thing that happens is we take this food token, it gets discarded, and we put in two white cubes into the pot. That means those are perishable foods. So what we're going to do is Charles is going to eat 1, Anne is going to eat 1, even though she has 1 on her board, and Alex is going to eat 1 of the non-perishable ones. So we have fed everybody. That means everybody gets an energy for that. Boom, boom, and boom. We do have a fire for our camp, so we will make sure we have added that and that's the last wood. We got to get some wood next turn to keep the fire going. Okay, so we do have that fire, and we could have done it any time, and I would have definitely done it, because that's going to gain everybody another energy, putting 3, 5, and 5. So we're doing okay on energy from that. And then we look, so basically what else do we have to do? That is about it, I believe. We're going to consume the wood, and we're going to pass the first player marker back to Charles Bernard, who is the only one that's been able to take a camp action so far. You know, I think this went fast enough. I think we're going to do 1 more turn, and then I'll call it a night on the video. That will give us, yeah, it'll put us back where we started with Anne, completely around, because Charles will take his turn. And when we started this video, we started with Ann Alexander. So let's do that. Okay, so we're going to draw our new event card. Hopefully it's nothing terribly bad. Well, this is actually good. This symbol for the clouds means it's going to go down 1, which has been keeping us in a nice area. We're not really having any problems. For our supplies, it says we're going to do 3+. Oh, I got to check something. I don't remember if we put 2 in there or nothing happens if there's already 1 in there. Just a second. Yeah, we're not going to move another cube into there, so that just stays where it is right now, which is a shame because it would have gotten there. It says you run out of supplies, discard 2. We don't have 2 food from the supply. What happens if we cannot fulfill an event? I have to think about that as well. Let me check. Okay, easy enough. We lose our 1 non-perishable food, so we're definitely going to have to get some food this turn. Okay, so yeah, I think what we're going to do is we've got a whole bunch of things we need to be doing. So now we're going to start plotting our actions. We have done the event card, which we have run out of supplies. We're going to put that back. So we need supplies. That's one important factor. I don't know if we're going to explore this turn or not. So let us start with, well, you know, Anne can take, yeah, that's what she's going to do. Okay, so the first thing that Charles is going to do is he wants to get a little more energy back. he's kind of been a selfish guy during this game anyway, so the doctor is going to rest a little bit. Okay, well, Anne, being frustrated from last turn, is going to go right here and take a camp action. Unfortunately, the thing that sucks about that is that means that I think that requires her to then use two. I got to look that up. I don't know if that requires her to use two or not. It says choose one of the available actions on the camp board. Place your action marker on the chosen card and follow instructions. Okay, so I guess when you take that, it doesn't say you have to do it twice. So I think we're gonna. That moves us over there, but that actually takes up one of our actions. And we're going to take 2 fish. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm having a hard time recollecting that one. Anyway, that allows us to draw 2 of the fish tokens, a 0 and a 1. So that wasn't very good for us. We only have 1 food currently in our camp, and that's it. That was kind of wasted. We could have done just as much foraging, but it would have cost energy, and this didn't. Okay. Lastly, well, we got to forage, so Alex is doing alright. He's going to forage. That's going to cost him 2 energy, putting him down to 3. The doctor just rested, so what's he going to do? We're out of wood. We need wood. So he goes there for 1. That's going to put him down to 2. Anne says, yeah, we need a bunch of things. We need wood, we need shelter, we need all kinds of stuff. We're not advancing our game as much as we need to. So she too will get wood, and that puts her down to 4. So hopefully when he forages, we'll get at least 1 more piece of food, which would cover us because Anne still has the food that she's been carrying on her. Okay, that's it for the actions. So no one's lost, and we'll just get right back to our action round. We're going to start here with Alex. He's going to get one of the last 2 tokens from there. Oh my gosh. Now what do we do? Now what do we do? Man, that is rough, guys. Okay, we just pulled a 0, so 2 of our 3 forage tokens were 0s. Bet you the third one's 0 too. Man, we don't have any other option for getting food this turn. 1 person is not going to eat. That means they're going to suffer injuries. It's probably going to have to be Alexander Selkirk. Okay. Anyway, the doctor rests, so let's go roll for his roll. Our game's turning south on us, guys. Let's go roll and see what happens there. Okay. Bam, he got 1 energy. He's been good at getting 1 energy. Okay, not 2. Alright, that's going to end that. Let's go back to the table. Okay, easy peasy. We're going to take hers. Well, next one would be the doctor's. That's going to gain us a wood. And then her coming off there, that's going to gain us another wood. Man, I can't believe we're going to have somebody get so... You get really badly hurt when you don't eat. Man, that's just rough. Well, he's going to have to do a lot of resting next turn, and with those injuries, they could turn into traumas. But our doctor can help with that. Perhaps. Okay, anyway, we got wood for the fire and an extra piece of wood to build up to. That basically ends our actions for the turn. So now we get into that tough part we're going to have to deal with. Okay, so the first thing that we do in our survival at the end of our turn is we turn in the fish token, and we gain a whopping 1 food. Okay, it's the doctor's start turn. He says, yeah, I'm going to eat that. So he does, which gains him an energy. Anne says, I'm going to eat mine. It's the last of her permanent food. That gives her an energy. And then Alex over here says, I can't. So he actually looks like this now. So he's got 2 injuries, and he's down to 2 energy. And that is the end of that part of the turn. Now, we don't have anybody lost or anything like that. So next turn we should be able to get a lot of fish because Anne can fish again. We can do some other things, I hope. Anyway. And the doctor is going to have to... I got to read up on the doctor's bill. It says, you may roll before checking for trauma. If you get a 5 or 6, remove 1 trauma from any player. Then you may discard 2 story points in order to remove 1 trauma from any player. Okay, he doesn't have any trauma yet. So next turn, or actually it'll be now, he's going to get to roll to see if he gets to remove 1. Oh, 1 trauma. I got to think about this and see what the doctor's going to do to help Alex. Okay, well, since Alex has 2 injuries, he has to roll 2 dice. If he rolls a 1 on either one of them, it becomes a trauma, which is bad. So let's see what he gets. Of course, he got a trauma. My luck is turned, fellas. It's turned. So I'm going to go back to the board and show you what that does. And he only had a 2 and 12 chance of getting that, and he did. So this top one gets replaced. Now, the good thing is the doctor now can do something about that. Well, it says before checking. I don't understand his card really, the doctor's card, that well. It says you may roll a die before checking for trauma. If you get a 5 or 6, remove 1 trauma from any player. But he didn't have a. How do you do that checking for trauma? Okay, he checked for trauma and he got 1. I guess that means that because they're not trauma cards until they're black. So now that they're trauma, let me look that up. Maybe that's going to answer my question for me. Okay, I should have rolled for the doctor beforehand. So we're trying to see if he gets a 5 or 6. If he does, then he was able to treat the injury before it turned into a trauma. We get to not make it a trauma. Now, Alex is still going to have to rest next turn to get rid of the injuries, but we did not. So Alex actually has a permanent trauma on his board. Now, I assume that it says you may roll for checking for trauma. If you get 1, remove 1 trauma from any player. Then you may discard 2 to remove 1 trauma from any player. Okay, so we can still do that. We can still remove that trauma from Alex later on, but that is going to end our turn. So let's go back to the players for a moment. Okay, last thing that happens is we get the start player goes back to her. Please let me know if I did that wrong with the camp action. I don't know why I'm fuzzy on that. I'm second guessing myself on it. So anyway, if I did that wrong, let me know. But that will end our turn, and that will be well, 3 full turns. So we did Anne, Alex, and then the turn with Charlie Bernard to start player, back around to Anne. So that's going to end our session for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying it. Stumbled a little bit on this one due to some bad luck. Traumas and injuries and lack of food, and oh my gosh. Anyway, we're going to have to get a lot of food later as well. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.